Greetings, Booktopia. Noel here. Now, since the reading rush starts tomorrow and I still don't have a TBR up, you're going to have to excuse the weird lighting post-work crazy flail. But I really want to try to do this because it's part of the fun, and why not? I have a wrap up for other things explaining this part of the absence, but that's not going to get up in time. So, moving on to why you're here. I actually have one book that could cover all of these prompts except for read 7 in 7 days if I was going to be coy and use a TV series instead of a movie. If I'm good, we'll see. So, that book, which I'm going to use in place of the read a book you wanted to read last year, is going to be Good Omens. I actually read this ages ago. It was one of my best library book sale finds ever, and my copy was lost when I lent it to someone. So I never got to reread it before the TV series came out. I couldn't really hunt it down, but we made sure this happened. So if nothing else, that is finally going to be reread so I can watch. Now, ironically, the only prompt I had really settled on a choice for early on was to read a book and then watch the movie. And I need a little bit of a disclaimer here that I am doing this out of order for a reason because I'm going to address another prompt after it. The movie I never got around to seeing is one that is an anime movie, and I watch a lot of animation and anime, but I miss a lot of the films. And I never got around to seeing A Silent Voice, which just got a lot of praise from everyone. Some of you might know where I'm going with this. The day I was plotting out my TBR, the horrific attack on KyoAni happened, and I did not realize at the time I was making this list that that was one of their productions. For those of you who don't know, in Japan this week, a mentally ill person set fire to an animation studio. There was a massive loss of life, and it is a phenomenal loss, not only in terms of people, but to a company that has stood by principles that are foregone by others of the same industry for the sake of money. And this has affected me far deeper than it probably should, considering I know no one there, I don't live there, I'm not even the studio's biggest fan, but it has just been horrific. And so I'm not going to abandon reading A Silent Voice or watching it. In fact, I'm actually going to cater another prompt to them in honor and just maybe a processing, and that this might be cheating a little bit. I think they're both author's first works for the read an author's first work prompt, but instead of catering it to the author, I'm doing it to the studio, and I hope that's forgivable if this isn't in fact a debut. And so I have two options here. I'm either going to read the light novel for Full Metal Panic, which was one of the offshoots of that was their first TV series. They also have a manga, which I might turn to because it's very hard for me to read things digitally, and that's the only way I could get the light novels for these two options. And the other option is to read the Haruhi Suzumiya light novel, which was their first film. And we're going to leave it there. I'm not going to go into much of a tangent. The next prompt I have is to read a book with a non-human character, and for that I'm going to read The Capture, which is the first book in, I'm blanking on the name. I know I'm prepared, but I'm not going to pronounce it right probably if I don't. It's The Guardians of Gold or something. All I know is that it's a middle grade children's fantasy book in which owls are the main character. There was an animated film years ago. Some of the animators actually came to talk to my friend's class. He was a year ahead of me in college, and I never got to see it. So maybe I could use that for this too, for the movie. Maybe this is a trend. Moving on. The next book is to read one in a same place, and that probably could go for any of these. But for this, I'm fulfilling my challenge, my personal month challenge of a nonfiction book. And for that, it's a short book called Unlimited Memory, which I think is just about memory improvement or the science of something to that effect. I honestly just picked it because it was nonfiction and short. For a book that starts or has 5 words in it, I'm going to fulfill my other personal month challenge in to read a play. So I'm going to revisit Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which is something I meant to read last year after I reread Hamlet. I actually read this years ago. Again, for an AP class, or my version of it, my school was so small, we didn't have AP classes. They shipped me off to a college to take some courses. It was great. Um, Except I missed reading Beowulf because of that, and I never did. And I'm kind of iffy about that. Maybe that's another thing I need to get to. And finally, to read a book with purple on the cover, I chose something literally because it was available. It's a graphic novel, so it's shorter and it has purple on the cover. And that is Nanami. I literally know nothing about this, although, no, I lie. I think it's about something about a theater group and getting transported to an alternate dimension during practice. I don't know. It just fills out my 7. So there you have it, 7 in less than 7 minutes. That might be a record for me. Let's see if I can get this up. I hope you have a great night. I hope you have a lot of fun and enjoy this great, awesome event. Toodles!